Welcome back, everyone, to Simply Trade Podcast. This will be a tech edition of our podcast. I've been a bit anxious to talk about this project that we started here at Global Training Center. We call it GTC Labs. Basically, that's like, imagine like an incubator. You know, when you bring in different ideas, different thoughts, different partners, trying to build something to see what happens, you know, using and leveraging all the resources that you might have within that organization. In this case, with Global Training Center, all our knowledge. I mean, we have 35 plus years of knowledge and training and resources, and you name it, that we do for the international trade community. Nowadays, it seems like it's a lot more critical. And so it moves very fast. I mean, we all know that. We've known that for almost a year and a half now, that trade seems to be moving quite quickly. And so now there's a bigger need for technology to help with that. We've had some really good conversations in the past 2 to 3 years with software providers that we meet at conferences who say, yeah, now I have this really cool tool to do tariff classification. I have this really cool tool to do to file entries, you know, to do the entry writing process. And we have tools that will automate a workflow for the logistics side. I mean, you know, there's lots and lots of tools out there. Within our little world here of training, we tend to have seen gaps. I'm going to talk about this one because this was our first project that we threw on the labs, was USMCA. You know, the customer was saying, yeah, well, it's not that easy to go out and get the rules, do the tariff shift, determine the RVC, you know, you name it, whatever the rules may be, and still have all that backup. That's why I'm taking this class, because I want to see how to do it. Now that I know how to do it, I'm not going to do it manually, you know, that kind of stuff. And sometimes software is a little bit not accessible to companies because maybe because of the pricing, maybe because of the implementation. There's a lot of different factors. So I decided, why don't we take our first project and create a USMCA tool that we can build it like the way people in the industry tend to work, you know, just it thinks and it works as a operator. On the other side of the business, how could we be a little more efficient and leverage the current technology? So internally, we decided, why don't we build a tool? Let's build one of these famous agents, AI agents, to go out and help us with the marketing and sales. In that process, we built this really neat automated workflow using some AI, using some traditional coding. Why don't we just apply that to trade? You know, and what I started looking at was let's try not to build something that we say can solve everybody's problems. Let's go look and see what problems people have that are not being answered by current technology. We did bring on staff, a couple of people. One of them is Aaron Escobar. He just like knows so much about the technology because he just digs in. You know, he'll go in there. Oh, what do we need to do? Oh, here, this is how we do it. I found out how to do this. You know, and we'll talk to him here in a little bit. And the other one is my daughter, Brianna Solorzano. We know her as Bri. Some of you have probably met her at the conferences because she's been to some conferences with us. And I guess it's kind of a selfish way for my wife and I kind of like figuring out how we're going to hand off the reins. And so we bring her in so she can learn the business this way. So both of them are software engineers. I feel it's really exciting because it provides opportunities for companies, small companies, big companies, we don't care. That may think that this is not accessible to them or might be afraid. Let's say that. They might be afraid to jump into technology because sometimes AI is a little scary. Sometimes automating a workflow or a process is a little scary. Sometimes it's intimidating. Like, well, I don't want to install. I did talk to someone actually who I showed the USMCA product to. By the way, we're calling that RAIZ, RAIZ, RAIZ. I showed them RAIZ, and they're like, no, I don't think this is for us. That's why they pay me. I immediately, to me, what I thought is, I'm not going to buy this because I buy this and I'm out. My job is over. That's not the intent. I mean, we've been saying that for the last 2-3 years now since AI came around, and not that RAIZ is AI or anything, but just any software automation. That's not the intent. The intent is to give you back your time to catch up or do things that you should be doing because of all these new law changes. Maybe needs to be doing something else because they're more productive somewhere else. Why do you want them chasing paperwork, chasing supplier documentation when you can have a system do that? Or why do you want them researching the current news and the newest EO, the latest executive order, and why don't you just have them like provide the? But Aaron and Brianna, welcome to the show after this long monologue that I had here. Welcome and thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Hello.
So let's start with the first product, Brianna. Let's start with that first product. I went to Brianna and I kind of gave her the challenge, and we explained what our typical USMCA customer talks about. And by customer, I'm talking about people who attend our training. We have a full day USMCA training. We have a half day USMCA automotive training, and then we have several courses that are recorded. So let's produce something that is for USMCA. It's modern. It is on the cloud. So we went to her and we said, here are the problems that we have. What are the, do you remember how we tackled that and how we started, just putting it together?
Yes. Yeah, we had lots of meetings, you and I, just kind of going through like what exactly USMCA is, like what the different ways that products can qualify, and then also just knowing like what your customers at, Global Training, struggle with, what they kind of what they do day to day, and what would make their life a little easier for their processes of things they have to do. So I'm someone who loves software. I love, like, as you said, like front end. I like making like happy experiences, delightful experiences for users. That was something I loved doing at my last job, and making a complicated or maybe complicated concept, and making it seem straightforward and easy and not confusing. And so that's something that we did with RAIZ, and I think we worked together for we started out, as a lot of like ideas and apps do, like kind of with a very complex, lots of tabs, lots of different sidebars of menu items of our app, and then kind of started consolidating like, oh, these things go together, we could do this, and this and this are go hand in hand, and making everything more intuitive, more straightforward, less complex. So I think that makes like a great product, is like not too overwhelming, something that's straightforward and makes sense. So that's kind of how we started, and where we went with it, and try to focus on what was most important for like customers' problems that they want to solve.
Right. And just so you understand, everyone listening to this, I went to her and I told her the business part, the USMCA part, like the headaches that people have. Number one, solicitation of documentation from suppliers. Number two, taking the PSR, product specific rules, and determining if it qualifies for USMCA or not. The third thing that I told her was you need to fulfill certificate of origin requests from your customers. So just like you're asking your suppliers for certificates, your customers are asking you for their certificates. And I told her normally that's where people stop, and or they might have only a piece of that, like maybe they only have the solicitation, or maybe they only have the fulfillment. I don't know about the qualification. I don't know how many are out there doing that right now. Honestly, I haven't kept up with that part of the business because of my training business. But I said, let's not stop there. Let's wrap it all up with a fourth thing, which is the underlying layer of having a full audit. Like at any given time, you can always defend against any claim that you make, no matter what. And she did her magic, and that's what she was saying about the front end, loving the front end and the user experience. When we first started, there was so many menu items. It was like, let's put this, let's put that, and like we thought more was better, but actually less is better. It's so minimalistic right now. It's so clean. I love the way it came out. What is it that you felt was the challenges that we were facing that and you put it into the product?
Yes, I think that there's a lot of small parts that go into what we were trying to accomplish. Like you need a bill of materials for a part, and then you need to run a qualification, test to see if that part qualifies for USMCA. And then, from there, like you mentioned, we wanted the certificates to be able to be generated. And we also wanted to support being able to import their suppliers and tying certain parts to the suppliers. And that's a lot of different like data models. And the way that I think what we outputted at first, or we built it at first, was kind of like singular, like singular page for every single little thing. And in reality, all those things do tie together, and try to make it more human usable from there. And that's how we consolidated pages, and that's how we made, more intuitive experience. Like if you wanted to create a certificate, you'd probably go to the certificates page. You wouldn't try to find a separate page called like new certificate creation or something like that. So if you wanted to like see all your qualifications, you would go to a tab that was called qualifications. So we consolidated everything and try to make it in a way where all the part searching is the same across the app. The all search and filters have like similar fields across the app, and just try to understand like a user's flow of maybe adding a bill of materials, requesting to a supplier like, hello, can you give me the part information for this part that you supply to us? And being able to have it come like full circle all in the RAIZ app and make it make sense and easy to find the information you want.
I think initially the problem was me, because I came in with this old school mentality, like menu item for this, menu item for that, menu item. And then when you started consolidating, you came up with this modern approach with its dashboards, dashboard for this, a dashboard for that. And then, like you said, consolidates everything into one pretty little dashboard where I know this dashboard is for my solicitation. I know this dashboard is for my qualifications, but I know your front end expertise really leveraged that. Now, on the other side, so we started developing some stuff for internal purposes. So we brought in Aaron, and we'll let Aaron explain a little bit about his background and how he came on into this field. But we brought Aaron because we had seen that he had been working with. Back then was like, it sounds like it's a long time ago, but it really isn't. I guess in AI terms, it is a long time ago. In January of this year, believe it or not, I mean, we're talking about 6 months ago. 6 months ago, this new revolution appeared in the AI world called OpenClaw. And Aaron was like, we saw how he was like really into it, and he's like, hey, imagine the things you can do with this. And I'll let him explain a little bit about that. But we said, well, maybe if you can do some magic there, maybe what we could do is agents with skills that can do marketing and sales support. Let's see what happens, right? So Aaron, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be part of all of this. It's a lot there's a lot going on, and really great stuff with USMCA from the previews we've seen. So really excited to see it all the way through. But yeah, 2026, the year of the agent, the personal agent. That's what's happening. That is the headline. OpenClaw, right? Was built last year in November, but it didn't really blow up until late January, February. And Peter Steinberger, the creator, right, was everywhere. Every podcast is now NVIDIA picked it up, and Microsoft has their own OpenClaw. I mean, everywhere you look, it was technology companies wanted to be part of this. And so, yeah, creating your own agent, your own virtual employee that doesn't take lunch breaks, that doesn't need insurance, working 24/7 for what you want. Um, that's what 2026 is about. So yeah, when Lalo approached me, you're right. Yeah, I was we were using OpenClaw. We were learning and I was learning a lot about how to create certain agents, develop a harness around them. Basically the controls or the instructions for how to make them operate. And I think you wanted a sales tool, right? An SDR toolkit, really, for your team. And yeah, we built one. An agent goes out and researches. Uh, there's a lot of trade data out there. Companies looking for trade compliance people. So the SDR essentially, it goes out. You have an agent that goes out and researches the web, looks at job postings, tries to find out any company that really needs training, really, and look for those kind of signals. We import them, and then we clean them up, parse them, and make them look pretty, and for another agent to go ahead and enrich that data to look for context in LinkedIn, or really any kind of contact info, and then get a conversation going where we draft up how to approach that customer or that lead, based off the signals that we saw during research, right? So if a company is hiring a trade compliance professional and there's news that a certain regulation came out and it affects their industry, right? That would score higher as far as like our lead scoring that we built in. And then we design our outreach for the GTC sales lead. We design all the outreach for email, for LinkedIn, and kind of help get, like I said, get the draft going so they can get that conversation going and make a good connection with them.
Right. And I guess the initial impact or the initial idea behind that was not really to make a commercial product out of it. It was mainly for our internal purposes. And you all may be hearing here that this agent did research, another agent did like maybe some like marketing behind it, like maybe emails or things like that. And y'all may be hearing that you just said it doesn't replace people, and yet you're telling me that it has like it does the job of this person, this person, this person. So what Aaron designed, which is true, but at the same time, let me tell you guys, when you're a small company, you may not have the budget or the resources to do that. And not only that, but like several of us are doing that job. We'd rather allocate it to like the agent, for example, so that it can take care of that, and we can free up to do other things, like enhance our educational products, or whatever it is that we're doing. But I guess in the process, like I said, that product was not intended to be a commercial product, but in the process we looked at it and we said, well, this might be for sales and marketing, for an internal company, and we know we're not in the sales and marketing field. That's not our lane. We said, but a lot of these processes are the same. Aaron, you talked about going out and doing research and finding information on the internet, going out and looking at maybe posts on LinkedIn as to what is going on, so that maybe we can reach out to them and sell them more training, right? Or whatever. And then we went out, you talked about other resources within the trade business or industry on new announcements or things that come out. So then we decided, well, it's kind of the same too for our customers. They want to go out there and listen to all the buzz that's going on social media for trade. They also want to go and listen to the official, right? The official information regarding trade, like whatever comes out of the White House, whatever comes out of the U.S. Trade Office, whatever comes out of BIS. I mean, you name it. Lots of different resources, official resources. And then at the same time, apply kind of like your internal business practices, your standard operating procedures and everything, and put it all together to determine how that affects you. So then we're like, maybe we ought to do that, because we already have the logic or the intelligence. Oh, and at the same time, let's throw all our education stuff that we have, everything that we teach. We have podcasts, we have e-learning, we have seminars, we have webinars, we have these cohorts that we're doing that are 4-6 weeks long. We have lots of blogs, and we have so much information. And so we threw that at Aaron. And so I guess that's what you're in the middle of working on, right, Aaron?
Yeah, yeah, it's really exciting. There's a lot of data out there. The idea, like you mentioned, there's a lot of new things happening. Official sources like from the White House and from others that you mentioned. Um, it takes a lot of time if you're a trade professional and you're trying to stay up to date with everything that's going on. You really have to dedicate some time to really it's daily, right? There's so much things going on in the world now. You have to dedicate a lot of time to research and making sure you are reading the right things. But then you pull up these PDFs, these articles on we're doing research because we're in the middle of it. Some of these articles that come out from the White House, I mean, you got 90 pages, and so how are you really going to process all of that? Are you going to spend all day reading one article? No. So that's where we're not replacing, or you don't create an agent to replace your job or to replace something you do. Just help you move faster, really read more or process more. It's a sidekick, right? Your personal secretary, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, right now what we're doing is trying to aggregate everything trade, and we're using GTC's, subject matter experts here to pull in the right data, process it, and then what the goal is you as a trade professional, you can input the things that you care about, right? I only care about news related to my industry. These are our concerns, and you can really process or have that news processed and catered for how you want it, and you can get like a good brief or a good outlook for the week, and maybe help maybe help give you some talking points, right? Like if you're going into meetings and you're trying to figure things out, you want to have some good talking points and not have to worry about, oh, did I do like my 2 hours of research and reading these documents? No, I have my agent do that, right? So this is what we recommend. This is how this might affect us later, so maybe we should start conversations about it. The goal is to have situational awareness about what's happening in my industry, around the world, like I said, and making sure we're using official sources, right? And it's growing. There's so many things to connect. I mean, they're huge. They have a lot of data, a lot of learnings, a lot of teachings, and so having a community also that we can connect with to be part of these briefings, to add some value also. Let's say if you have a question about something, I mean, tying it all together is really what we're excited about, and it's turning out really neat.
Right now we're in a process of, like I said, it's more like an incubator, where we're coming up with ideas and throwing these out there, trying to answer those questions or those concerns, those roadblocks, those challenges that you guys may have when we listen to your comments when you attend our training. So we're actually listening. we're taking notes. We understand, and so you never know, something might come out of there. And we just thought this is an exciting time here, in not only at Global Training Center because of the GTC Labs, but mostly in the industry. Everybody talks about, AI is affecting the way the filmmakers make movies, and it's affecting the way music industry, they make music, and you name it, all that. In trade, there's so much opportunity. There's so many moving parts and everything that we, let's just say we wanted to play in the sandbox. We wanted to go and play with all the cool kids and everything, because we just thought that was a lot of fun. And you never know what comes out of it. But at the same time, we're keeping as a foundation all the education that we're providing, because that almost drives almost everything that Aaron said, that is driving that. And eventually it will, the USMCA product as well, RAIZ. Why? Because you might have a user that's out there, and a new employee or something that says, that they're responsible to go out and get solicitation. You give them the software. Let's say they start using RAIZ, and you give them the software, and you say, yeah, go do the solicitation from all the vendors or the suppliers. They're probably thinking, what is a supplier certificate? How does that work and all that? So our plan is to also add little snippets of our training, like a little video will pop up and say, hey, well, this is what this is, and explain that. And that all ties in together with like a lot of the things that Aaron was saying, and with what we do here at Global Training Center. But anything else, Brianna, Aaron, before we wrap up? It looks like we might need to wrap up here pretty soon.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention one last thing. So for RAIZ, we for RAIZ, for the qualification logic, we don't use any AI at all for the actual like result of the qualifying and the different tested paths. We use a human logic to check if it is USMCA qualified, and we are like planning on adding, enhancements for maybe like an AI assistant to help you understand maybe or dive deeper into your data or dive deeper into your qualification result, or any other questions you might have while on the RAIZ app. But the qualification part itself, we felt it was best to leave the AI out.
And that's a good point, because not everything needs to be answered with AI. I mean, AI can enhance a lot of stuff, but yeah, that's true. So we pretty much went old school in that and just created the human logic and created the code behind it. But how about you, Aaron?
Yeah, no, just to add to that, you're right. There's a time and a place to use AI in certain parts of software, and deciding when to use it and deciding when to leverage, knowing it's the pros and cons of what it comes with, and building for that is important, and we take that into a lot of consideration. So
awesome. Well, thank you all. Maybe we'll have you come back. And I know that the one thing that I am impressed with is both of you come up with these tools, and maybe use some commercially available, products or tools out there. I'm going to name one here really quickly, and we don't get paid by them or anything like that. But like Obsidian, for example, can you imagine the things that a trade person can do if they were to put Obsidian as their second brain? I mean, gosh, mind blown. And I'll let you all research that if you want to, but maybe we'll have you come back on the podcast on occasion and talk about things like that. I mean, we'll try to think of some really neat little hacks. I guess that's what they'll be. They're actually hacks, on trying to get things done or work done in your day to day. So, but anyway, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you for joining us, and we're really excited and really happy to have you all on our team. And hopefully, if any of you go to conferences, hopefully you all be able to catch up with either one of them or both of them. If you have any questions, you can just let us know. We'll have contact information on the show notes. And thank you for listening. Thank you, Bri. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.